We are close to the finals. Cups can be won and never lost. Welcome once again to News Analysis. News Analysis, a weekly magazine on current affairs. To begin with, the main points in a nutshell. 3 held in Norway, Al-Qaeda bomb plot. Speculation growing of US-Russia spy swap. A professor attacked in Kerala by fundamentalists for speaking against religion. Kashmir streets are now blazing again in public fury. Senior naval officer got killed in an accidental fire. Waka Waka World Cup 2010 finals played. And now the news in detail. 3 held in Norway, Al-Qaeda bomb plot. 3 people have been arrested in connection with the plot to bomb targets in Norway, police in Oslo have said. 2 of the plotters were arrested in Norway and 1 in Germany, said the head of Norwegian security police, Jenny Christiansen. The men in Uyghur from China, an Iraqi and an Uzbek are said to have ties to Al-Qaeda and to be linked to bomb plots in the US, UK, Ms. Christiansen said. The 3 all-Norwegian residents have been under surveillance for a year. US prosecutors said the Norwegian case is linked to foiled bomb plots in New York and the English city of Manchester. We believe this group has links to the people abroad who can be linked to Al-Qaeda and to people who are involved in investigations in other countries, among other United States and Britain, Ms. Christiansen continued. She said one of the men was Norwegian citizen, 39, a Muslim Uyghur from China, who had lived in Norway since 1999. Another was Iraqi citizen, 37, who was granted Norwegian residency on humanitarian grounds. The 3rd man was Uzbek national, 31, who was granted permanent residency in Norway on grounds of family reunification, Ms. Christiansen continued. Norwegians are coming to terms with the fact of their country can also no longer be considered a neutral peace facilitator, immune to the international terror attacks. She gave no details of where the men were arrested, nor any information about the location which may have been targeted for attacks. Ms. Christiansen said the arrest had been brought forward because of news of the probe was about to appear in the international media. Such an exposure of the case without a foregoing arrest could have proved destructive to the investigation and with great danger of destruction of evidence, she told the news conference in Oslo. We have not chosen this timing completely by ourselves, but we think that we have solid case, which the end naturally will be up to the courts to decide. The BBC security correspondent Gordon Correa says Norway may have been targeted because it has troops in Afghanistan. Speculation growing of US-Russia spy swap. Speculation is growing that the US and Russia are preparing a Cold War-style prisoner swap. The US lawyer defending one of 10 suspected Russian spies has said the case may be resolved when they faced formal charges later on Thursday. A Russian scientist convicted of espionage is said to be involved in a possible swap. Early reports that he had been flown to Vienna have been dismissed by his family as speculation. Igor Sutyagin's father, Vyacheslav, denied earlier Russian news agency reports that he had received news of his son's arrival in Austria. This is all speculation. Don't take it seriously, he told the reporters. Austria's foreign ministry told Reuters it could neither confirm nor deny Sutyagin's arrival on its soil. Neither Russian nor US authorities have commented on the reports of swap. 5 suspects detained in Massachusetts and Virginia are being brought to New York to face charges along with 5 already held in the city. European Parliament bans illegal timber. The European Parliament has voted to ban imports of illegal timber. From 2012, companies importing timber will need to prove where it came from and will face legal sanctions if they do not comply with the new law. The vote follows several years of wrangling over how stringent the legislation should be. Campaigners say they are pleased that the issue is to be addressed at last. About 20% of timber coming into the European Union is thought to be illegal. The illegal timber trade plays a significant part in the deforestation of some tropical countries. It helped sustain the recent Liberian civil conflict as armed factions use the revenue for arms. At last, the link between the European market and the forests around the world ravaged by illegal logging has been weakened, said Finland's Green MEP Satu Hassi, who has led the moves within the parliament. This law hangs up a closed for business sign to a destructive market. Cameroon denies homosexuals face persecution. Cameroon's government has rejected the claim by a gay asylum seeker in the UK that he would face persecution if returned home. On Wednesday, the Supreme Court in London ruled in favor of the man and a similar claimant from Iran. Homosexuality in Cameroon is punishable by up to 3 years in jail. However, Cameroon's communications minister told the reporters homosexuals were free to behave as if they wished in private without any harassment. Homosexuality is forbidden by the law, there is no doubt. But what I can emphasize is the fact that no homosexual is persecuted in Cameroon, Communication Minister Issa Chiroma said. He told reporters that the claimant was simply using the law as an excuse to claim asylum in Britain. Do you think he is the only gay person in Cameroon? The two men who have won the right to claim asylum in the UK had been refused by the previous British government. That decision was backed by a lower court on the grounds that they could avoid ill treatment by keeping their sexuality secret or behaving discreetly. But the Supreme Court judges ruled that this was a violation of their human rights. The applicant from Cameroon, who is only identified as HT, had been told he should relocate elsewhere in this country and be more discreet in future. UN Chief Ban Ki-moon recalls Sri Lanka envoy. The UN Secretary General has recalled his envoy to Sri Lanka and is closing an office in Colombo because of unruly protests over a war crimes panel. Ban Ki-moon said it was unacceptable that Sri Lankan authorities had failed to prevent the disruption of work of UN personnel in the country. The demonstrations are being led by the Housing Minister, Wimal Weerawansa. He has urged progressive nations to halt a UN probe over possible war crimes during Sri Lanka's civil war. Mr. Weerawansa, an ally of the President Mahinda Rajapaksa, said he had also begun a hunger strike in a bid to increase pressure on the UN. I am starting a fast till death. Only when the accusation of war crimes are withdrawn and panel abolished will I stop this fasting. Family of Professor T.J. Joseph forgives attackers. The family of a professor in southern India whose hand was cut off by a suspected Islamic extremist group have told reporters they forgive his attackers. Professor T.J. Joseph was